food away, but beyond that, put clothing away, shoes. You can't function without shoes.
Right.
And the quality of everything that you buy today is so inferior. It's so bad. I mean, even your underwear, they've cut back on the thread count of underwear coming into the United States, and it's falling apart. Big holes in everybody's underwear. And the shoes are bad, and everything, every utility. I bought a new coffee pot the other day, and I plugged it in, and the water runs through it so fast it doesn't have time to pick up the coffee. It just dumps. You get 2 cups every 30 seconds.
Go figure, Griff,
and
my electric
Chinese,
Yeah, my electric bill was $483 this last month. $483. Who the hell can afford that?
I see today in the news that the IRS is accelerating levies on people for back taxes. They're coming at their houses, at their bank accounts. Now, this is deliberate Obama stuff. This is an attack on the American people, and they're not going to take it.
Right.
You remember what Bob Chapman said the last time he was on? He drew a picture of the man and his family living under a bridge out of a shopping basket, and the only thing he's got is an AK. What did I say last time, Joe? AK-45?
Yeah, something like that.
You corrected me.
It's an earlier version of it.
Yeah, an AK-45. And a lot of ammunition. Now, the question is, what is he going to do? Well, it's pretty obvious what he's going to do. He's not going to let his family die. Now, we got upwards to 300 million people that are pissed off right now, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen, just as sure as the sun coming up in the morning.
Hey, Griff?
I totally agree. Go ahead, Tom.
Griff, can I make a quick comment?
Sure.
I don't think Obama, well, he is, but I don't think he is necessarily trying to destroy the nation. I think the people who put him there are using him to destroy the nation, and when they get through with him and things get bad enough, they'll throw out the Kenyan birth certificate, and then it'll really hit the fan.
Oh, could you imagine?
Sure.
Could you imagine when if that happens? Oh, my goodness gracious.
Yeah.
You want to talk about some sparks flying there, but you're right, Tom. I mean, in essence, all he is an agent. He's just somebody that's there to advance an agenda, and to be quite honest with you, he's been quite effective in trying to do just that. And Gwen, now, like I said, the Midwest tends to have a different view of things. Like I know, for example, you're in the Midwest. I know Margot's in the Midwest. I'm on the East Coast along with Griff, along with John, and the mentality in the Midwest is a little more different. And here, people tend to be a little more indoctrinated. They tend to be a little more I don't know the word to say, asleep. What's your situation out there, Gwen, as far as the mentality?
Oh, they're asleep. They're asleep.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, though, we here, because we live far from town, or we naturally stock up extra food. Because of weather, because of distance. So there, it kind of balances out in some ways. Even if people are asleep, they still have a pretty good stock in their pantry, and they're armed. We have a bill in our state legislature that everyone has to own a gun. All adults have to own a firearm. I laughed when I read that, and I posted a comment online in the newspaper. I said, what, all South Dakotans don't already have a gun? I mean, how funny is that? But I think just in general, people here, a lot of people here garden, people support the farmers markets, they milk their cows. We just don't have a lot of big government here. And so people pretty much do what they need to do, and people are more community-minded and working together and that kind of thing, just in general, But then the other side of that coin, too, is we have a very high alcoholism rate. We have a lot of drug abuse. Things that you see other places, probably not the same per capita, but you know, we have those social issues here just like anywhere else that will create problems, you know, in a, you know, due to hitting the escalating device scenario.
Yeah.
Something else I want to mention, you know, that rioting going on over in Wisconsin, the protests and stuff, that makes me so angry. Those selfish, greedy people over there, you know, why don't they shut up and go home and get down on their knees and thank God that they still have a freaking job?
Yeah.
Instead of, you know, to me that's just so damn unbelievable. It makes me so angry when I see stuff like that. You want to complain, why don't you complain about something real, for crying out
you're right.
loud?
You're right, but you know, it's a matter of greed. It's a matter of selfishness. It's a matter of being out of touch. But even more so, we live in a country where it's acceptable and it's normal for inflation to occur annually, and the problem is the cost of things. Our society is so overinflated that it needs to deflate and correct itself. And the powers that be are not letting it happen, and everybody is suffering horribly because of it. And that, in and of itself, needs to occur, that correction. And it doesn't matter how it happens. It just needs to happen. Whether states say, nope, you know what, screw this, we're not paying this debt. Sorry, Charlie, it ain't happening. Or they secede, or they nullify, whatever the heck they do, it's going to come down to that. And if the states aren't willing to do it, then it's the duty of the people to do it. And that's
right, exactly.
It has to happen one way or another. And I really feel like the hand of the people are going to be forced. It's going to be forced upon people.
Yesterday, Joe, I went to town. I had to do some work in town. And then just driving through town, the gasoline is well over $3 a gallon here now, just in 1 week.
Uh-huh.
And every restaurant parking lot is packed full. And here, a lot of people drive big pickups and SUVs, and they're just driving around town. And I'm just going, oh, my God. I mean, it's like people are oblivious to what is coming. I mean, that money that they just spent for their family to go to dinner on their credit card, they could have gone to Sam's Club and gotten a bunch of food to store. You know, it's mind-boggling to me when I watch this stuff. It's excruciating. I can hardly stand it.
Yep.
You know, I just
May I make a comment on that?
What's wrong with you? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Is that okay, Joe?
Yeah, no, hey, don't ask, Tom. Just shoot away.
Most of the people don't know what the price of gas is, except the poor. Most of those people in those parking lots at the restaurants are putting not only their restaurant food on credit cards, but they're putting gas on credit cards as well. And at the end of the month, they pay the bill. If it's a little higher, they don't see it. But the people who don't have credit cards, who are paying on a cash basis, and I know some of these people who have to pay it at the pump by the dollar, they're the ones that are hurt first. Then the middle class is hurt. Then it affects the rich. But the raising of the gas prices is an attack on the lower class folks first. And when I say lower class, I'm talking about lower income. They're the ones who hurt first.
No, you're absolutely right. John King, you got a scenario.
Oh,
John, hold on one second, Gwen. John King, you got something to add to the conversation, don't you?
Yes, I do. Griff, you brought up the point that they're coming at us from so many angles, and I couldn't agree more. So I have a scenario to propose. About 2 weeks ago, NASDAQ was hacked. Now, what if, just supposing the people, or maybe some pissed off entrepreneur decided he was going to put a virus in the banking system or the New York Stock Exchange to spread and go off at any one certain point and wipe out everything. What do you think would happen then?
Griff?
Well, I have trouble with the entire monetary system. It's not dollars. It's Federal Reserve promissory notes that have no promise. Why not just take a pencil and erase the debt?
Well, that's what we're saying.
Eraser.
That's what we're saying.
Let's just erase all the debts, and there'll be no more debt. repudiate the
John
debt.
Q, pissed off unemployed worker that no longer collects an unemployment check and his kids are starving, plants a bug in a banking computer or the stock exchange to spread and go off 6 months down the road, rendering our whole way of life, fiat or not, commerce will come to a halt at that point.
Well, you've got to have some kind of bartering monetary system of some kind. But, John, why not just erase the debt? That'll make everything fine. If we lived within our boundaries, that would solve the problem.
That's what quantitative easing is in the reverse. They just go to Goldman Sachs and add zeros to the accounts.
That's right, and they can do that.
When I race my car up the road, I'm not racing just because I love to go fast. I race because I win. I like to win. And for the powers that be, for all the rich fat cats out there that actually do run this ball of mud, to just simply push the reset button and start over, well, then what's the sense in playing a game? Because the end game is them having total control. And they can't get total control if they're always hitting the reset button.
Well, they can't have total control unless we give it to them. That's the other thing.
Somebody wants this to happen. This is not by accident. This is planned to bring the monetary systems down.
Margo, what's your thoughts on this? Hold on one second, Gwen. Margo, what's your thoughts on this? I haven't heard from you in a while.
Well, I kind of, I'm with Griff on this. I think this whole system's kind of ludicrous because, for instance, for those of us who are probably going to owe taxes this year, what does that really mean? Well, it means that we have to give pieces of paper to the IRS that are really notes, and those notes mean that if we were to go to the Federal Reserve Bank, we're supposed to be exchanging them for what? I mean, basically at this point, we're giving them back paper for money that they actually owe us.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. When you start thinking about it, there's a logical breakdown somewhere. It doesn't make sense. But the problem is people don't stop to think. People are on autopilot, and they just kind of go along with what they've been told to believe and what they've been told is correct and what they've been told how society works. But if you stop to think about it, if you have a piece of paper that's called a Federal Reserve note, that note means that you are able to go to a bank and exchange that and get something in return. I guarantee you if you go to the Federal Reserve and try to exchange those notes, you're not going to get anything for them. So what's the point of even, paying taxes on a philosophical level if it's not worth anything anyway? I mean, you might as well send in an envelope full of monopoly money.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me, when I think of a biblical verse about these times, God tells people to come out of her, my people, lest you receive of her plagues and partake of her iniquities. And that's what's going on right now, is that we're being complacent and we're actually participating in a system that's going to be the downfall of society. Gwen, I know you wanted to say something, so go ahead.
I just wanted to mention about the gas prices. Diesel is much higher than gasoline, and when the truckers can't afford, I mean, we've already lost so many trucking companies because of the prices, and when we get to the point where they can't afford the gasoline, and we don't have trucks moving. Not only I think the whole thing, little by little, we're going to start seeing these little fractions of our normal world fracturing and falling apart. And the trucking thing is going to be huge because stuff won't move.
Yeah, people don't realize just how important the trucking industry is to this country. I mean, trains, they move a lot of stuff, but, how many trucks, how many tractor trailers do you see on the highway each day that is transporting goods from one place to another? It's really the backbone of the commerce system as we know it in the United States. And as these fuel prices continue to rise, I mean, look, folks, right now where I am, and I know it's higher elsewhere. I just filled up, and it was $2.94, and that's in Virginia, who typically has lower prices.